Hey, teacher friends. Are your students tired of the spelling games that you're assigning? Are they getting kind of boring to them and kind of getting where they're a little antsy? I know my students have a difficult time staying motivated and focused on an activity that they've used over and over again. An amazingly fun and interactive assignment that they'll do in October maybe won't be as amazingly fun and interactive in March. So we got to switch things up, and you got to put new games, new activities in their spelling stations, which sounds simple, right? It sounds like no-brainer. Well, kind of. The worst part is finding the time to do it. And switching an activity in your spelling station is a lot more time consuming than any other station that I found, because you've got so much stuff. You have letter magnets, or you have tiles, or you have, cubes that you put together. If you have cut and paste activities, you're going to have scissors and glue. There's just more stuff that you need to put into your station to make it more engaging and exciting for them to want to do. So when you switch all that out, you don't have a lot of time to do that. So one of the solutions that I found was I figured out how to make a choose your own adventure game on Google Slides. This lets them use their devices, and you don't need to add extra stuff into your spelling station. And if you're teaching virtually, it's perfect to send to your kiddos at home for extra practice. So let me explain the concept of the game. Do you remember as a kid reading like a choose your own ending kind of book where the protagonist comes to a cliffhanger and has a decision to make and you get to choose it for them? It'll say, does he get to go in the dark, spooky cave? Turn to page 12. Or if you want him to chicken out and go home, you turn to page 20. And then you get to see how the story would end based on the choices. If you've ever read those are amazing books. Show of hands who peeked ahead of time. I always had like fear of missing out that FOMO to figure out what did I choose, so you go back and reread it. And I loved how captivating you were. You felt like you were in the story and you were making those choices. So that's the concept of the game. Now let's apply it to spelling. What if you gave your students a choice of 2 ways to spell a word, and depending on which one they choose, we'll show them the next slide. So if they choose a correct word, then what will happen? Or if an incorrect word, it'll go back and try it again. Now I'm going to start in Google Slides. The first thing you'll need to do is get rid of those text boxes. I've already done that for you. Get rid of those default text boxes that you need. Now I'm going to show you just the bare bones skeleton version of this. I make mine in PowerPoint or Keynote, and I make them kind of fancy. I have a whole treasure box kind of theme going. You can add those later, and I'm going to link to a PowerPoint tutorial for how to make PowerPoint presentations like that. But for today, for this video's sake, I'm just going to show you how to set the game up with the links and everything that you need to do to make this game. And then later on, you can jazz it up with any kind of pictures or backgrounds that you choose. Right. So you're in Google Slides, and you removed the text boxes. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is make just a ton of slides. So this is, one slide, and we're going to just add a bunch. The easiest way to do it is to click on that and then hit Command or Control and D. Sorry, I'm getting emails here. Get rid of that. Okay. And I'm just going to keep hitting that until I make just a bunch. Because you're going to need a lot. Now, if you make more, you can always delete them. Let's go back to the beginning one. This is our cover. This is where you're going to start. So let's do a text box here. I'm going to click on a text box, and I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to make my font. Short stack is a good one for the kids to read. I'm going to make it super big. I'm going to say 100. And let's do consonant blends, so maybe L blends. So I'm going to label this L blends for the kids. And that way they know which game they're playing, and it'll help you also when you're trying to find it. Also, before I forget, and I always forget this at the end, and I end up having a million untitled presentations, and I have to go through and find it. Give that a title up here too, L blends. Oops, L blends. Okay. So now you need a way for them to start. So I usually do a text box down here that says click here to play. Now here's the fun part. You can also make it, I don't have to make it big. to highlight the text. Short stack, okay. I don't need to make it big, but here's, we're going to come back and link to that, so it just has to be there. And again, you can add backgrounds, you can add pictures if you choose to, and I'll show you how to add pictures here in a second. So let's go to our next slide. This is going to be our first spelling word. And so right over here, I'm going to add a text box here that says, let's do clock. So, all right, clock, and that's spelled correctly. And I'm going to change the font. I'm going to make it much bigger. No, that's about big enough. Oops. I can, if I want it that size, I can always resize my text box. There we go. Clock. Okay. And I'm going to want to do the same thing but spell it wrong. So they have a choice of spelling it right and wrong. And I've already changed my font and my size, so all I'm going to do is click on the box, and I'm going to click Control or Command, Control if you have a PC, and then Control C and then Control V, and now I've made a copy of that. Or you can hit Control D. Now I want to spell it wrong. Let's say I will spell it with an A, clack. Okay, so I've got clock and clack. And you always want to just differentiate between them by one letter. You know, obviously I can't, normally you might just take the blend off and see if, you know, you change, since you're working on blends. With that word, I'm not going to do that. You can probably see why. So I changed the vowel instead. So you want to make it close where they really have to look for it. So now I have my two choices for my, my spelling, and I'm going to add a picture of a clock. So I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Search the Web. And over here, I'm going to search for clock clip art. Now, if you're going to add a background, you want a transparent background, so you don't have that white box around the image. So my computer knows I search for transparent backgrounds all the time, so I'm going to do that. So there's a clock. We'll just, this blue one's fine. So you can either double click or click and insert, and your clock is right here. All right, so there's my first slide. Now let's go to the next slide. We need a slide that shows they got it correct. They chose, this is going to be the slide where they choose the correct word. So because I'm, you know, not because I'm lazy, because I'm efficient, I'm going to go back to my first one, and I'm going to, I want it that big, so I'm just going to copy this text box by clicking on Control C, and I'm going to go back to my third slide and put Control V, and now I can just change the text. That way I don't have to go and change the font and the size again. So I'm going to say correct, and I'll want them to click on something fun. I have a whole treasure box theme on mine, so I click on a gold coin. You can you know, you can add any image you want. It can be like a prize or confetti or something like that. So let's add, let's just add confetti. Insert image, search the web, and then instead of clip art, you're going to search confetti. And let's just choose that one. Let's put it right there. You need to tell them to click. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to click on this text box. I liked that format, so I'm going to copy it right here and move it over here, and I'll say click. Oopsies. I'm going to change the play, and it's just going to say click here. Now you'll notice it's a big text box. It really doesn't matter. So you're going to click here, and you can move it wherever you want. Again, you can play with your style if you want it to be different, but I just want to show you how to play the game. So the next slide, let's go to number 4. You need an incorrect slide. I like to say try again. I don't want to be like wrong, you know, I'm going to say try again. So again, I can even, let's even take a better shortcut. Let's take slide number 3, because it has the same format, and let's just copy that. So Control D, now you have 2. And again, if I'm going too fast, please pause the video and catch up. And you can always rewatch it to figure out certain steps. So let's go ahead and put try again. Try again. And then I want to maybe let's put in a somebody thinking clip art. Let's try this guy. All of the clip art that I'm showing you is free to use without copyright issues. So that's what I like about this also. Okay, so try again and we'll say click here. All right, now that's the hardest part of the whole thing. You can put as many words in the slideshow that you want to. I'm going to show you 3. So I'm going to click on these 3 slides right over here, and I'm going to duplicate them twice. So we're going to have a total of 3 sets for this spelling word. So all I need to do is click on these 3. I'm going to click on the first one, number 2. I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to click down to 4. That chooses all of them. So Shift, and then you choose them. Now I'm going to push Control or Command if you have a Mac, D, and I'm going to do that twice. 1, 2. Now you have 3 sets of the words. Excuse me. And so this was our first one with clock. Let's go right here to our second word, and let's change that. So this time, let's see, maybe flower. And, but you know what? I want to write the correct word at the bottom this time. It's important you switch them around. Otherwise, they're going to think it's the first one every time. So I'm going to switch this one to flower. And this one, I'm going to spell wrong. And this time I will leave the end off because I'm not going to spell a naughty word if I just take off that L. And I'm going to change my clock. I'm going to click on it and delete. And then insert image, search the web, flower, clip art. And then you want a transparent, and voila, here's a flower. You can move it around. Okay, then I've already made this slide. I don't need to make it again. I've made the try again slide, and let's do our last one. Let's do globe. And this time I am going to do globe at the top and globe without the L. Here, I'm going to change out my image by writing globe. There's your globe. Now that we're done, let's just say you've added in all of the words you need to using this technique. So my last slide is going to be like congratulations kind of slide. So I'm actually just going to duplicate number 10. I'm going to push on 10 and hit Control D again. And this time on my last slide, I'm going to put congratulations. And if it's too big, I need to resize it. I like to push on the arrows even though it takes a while because I can see it going to the size I want. I'm going to change this thing. I can also get rid of click here because you're done. This is going to be the last slide they do after they finish all their slides. But I am going to put in an image, search the web, and I can even put congratulations. Clip art. You can even put a GIF if you wanted to. Do whatever. You can put whatever you would like to. Oh, yeah, those aren't good. Maybe we will put a GIF in there. No. Let's go back to the confetti. So I put the confetti in there. And you can add anything that you want in there. You can add text, you did it, or you can even give them another instruction or for what you want them to do next. Now you remember all those extra slides? We're going to get rid of those. So I'm going to click on the first slide and I'm going to go all the way down. I would have needed all of those if I made my full set of words. But I'm going to click on Shift and click on the last one and delete. That way you're not deleting each one, just a shortcut. Okay, now believe it or not, that is the hardest part, is creating this. Once you've made a template, it's super easy just to add in the links. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go back to that first slide and I'm going to show you how each student click will go to the next slide. So you want them to click here and you want them to go to slide number 2 to start the game. So when you click here, what you'll do is you'll click on Insert Link, and it will give you links. You could link to places on the web. So even on that last page, maybe you could click onto a video of Lens or something like that. So you can just know that you can do that. But I want to click to the next slide in the presentation. So I'm going to click on slides in this presentation. You have a choice of either choosing the next slide or the number slide. So you want number 2. I kind of get in the habit of choosing the page numbers just on this activity. So I'm going to click on slide 2 and apply. No, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Oh, you know what I did? I know what I did. Here, don't do that. When you click in here, you're going to add in a link to click on. So instead, make sure you click on this box and then try it. Let's see if that works. Slide 2, apply. There we go. Okay. The reason why is you want them to click on this area. Anywhere in this area will go to slide 2. Otherwise, you can also put a link and it'll say slide 2, but that won't fit with the game. So you want to make sure you click on the box and not the text. So that's just something you need to do. And you can see it now goes to slide 2. So let's go to slide 2. Now, if they choose the correct spelling, they want to go to the correct slide, and that's slide 3. So I'm going to click on the box. I'm going to click on the link, and I'm going to move it to slide number 3. Apply. Now, if they click on the wrong spelling, you want them to go to the try again slide, which is number 4. So I'm going to click on the box. I'm going to click on the link, and I'm going to slide number 4. All right, moving on. Let's link from slide 3. Now, if it's correct, you want them to go to the next word, which is slide number 5, where we made the flower. So when you click here, I can click on this picture. Actually, I can click, let's move this pretty close. Because you don't, either click the text box or the confetti, and I probably think that they're going to choose the confetti. So let's actually move this up and this here. There we go. Now if you look at it, it says click here. So I'm going to click on the confetti. And again, these are, design things. You can change later. So, okay, this is correct. So I want them to go to slide number 5. So I'm going to click on that, click on the link, and go to, oopsies, sorry, hit the wrong button. Go to slide number 5. Now, if you can't see it, use the down arrow. Slides in this presentation. Use the down arrow to move it, and that's how you'll be able to see it. Sometimes it runs off of the page. Click apply. Okay, let's move to slide number 4. For try again, you want it to go back to slide number 2. Remember, they got it wrong, so they need to go back. So I'm going to click link slides in this presentation. Use my down arrows because it runs out of the thing. Slide 2. So correct moves forward to the next word. Try again goes back to the original. Okay, so that set is done. Now let's do the same for flower. This one is incorrect. I can move that up so I can see what slides they are. So I'm going to click on the text box, link, and I want that to go to slide number 7. That's the try again slide. Apply. Then click on this, click on the link. This one is the correct one. Where's the link go? Link. And this one is correct. So this goes to slide number 6. Okay. So the incorrect one goes to try again. The correct one goes to the next one. Don't go back and relink to this one, because when you click on this, it'll just get mixed up. Each word has to have its own correct and try again. Okay, now, excuse me, we're ready. This one, we're ready to move on to this one. So this correct, and again, I'm going to move this down here just to make it look better. I'm going to click on here. This needs to move on to the next word, which is slide number 8. So I'm going to link this. to slide number 8. And click apply. You have to click apply, otherwise I'm guilty of moving on without clicking apply. Slide number 7 is where they need to go back to flower to try it again. So I'm going to click that to slide number 5. Once you start doing this, you'll find it's kind of muscle memory where you can just do it. All right, so flower set is done. Now, here's number 8, globe. This is the correct word. Now, if this is, here's where it changes. If this is the last word, you don't need a correct slide. You need it to go to the congratulations slide. So I'm actually going to delete this slide. I'm going to click on it and delete it because this one's going to the end slide, number 10. So globe, I'm going to click on the outside, goes to slide number 10, apply. This one goes to the try again slide, which is number 9. Come on. Number 9. Okay. Now my try again slide will go back to the globe slide, number 8. And my congratulations slide can either end or you can send it to a video or something that you want. Now the hardest part is done. All of those links are all done. And so a couple things can happen. You can either add some audio to your slides, and I'm going to link in the comments here a tutorial on how to add audio to your slide. And the reason why you might want to do that is if you have a word that's not really, that you can't really find a picture that you can tell right away. Like I know I always had trouble with the word point. You'd put a hand and they'd think it was hand and not point, you know what I mean, where you can't quite find the word. So you can add audio to your slides where they click on it and you are reading the word point, for example. And I'm going to link a tutorial on how to do that. It's super easy. But for the sake of time, I'm just showing you how to do this. The other thing is that you can now make a new game with a different spelling skill or another skill altogether. So think about how you could use this. You could use it for math facts or maybe vocabulary lessons because the possibilities are endless for this. All you need to do is make a copy. Go over here and click on File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. After you give it a name, you can now go in there and change the content. So when you do that, all you would need to do is change the images here and the words. The links will already be there for you. They'll come over with you, but you will need to make sure that if you've switched the words, so if you put the incorrect word on the bottom and not on the top, you'll just need to switch the links. And so all you need to do is click on it. To change the link, you can either remove it or edit it. So like if I want my my next word to be correct up here, I just need to make sure I link it to the correct slide and not the try again slide. But that goes very fast. So I've made one, and now you can take that template and make more. And now you're ready to assign this to your students. Now all you need to do is give them this link like you normally would. I'm assuming that you would use Google Classroom. But here's the deal. You have to teach them to open the link and click on present. Otherwise, the game won't work like it's supposed to. You'll just see what we see here. So let me show you your finished game and then how your students will see it when they're ready to play it. So I'm going to go all the way up here to the beginning again, and I'm going to push present. And this is what they'll see. So you'll have your L blends. Click here to play, and I'm going to click, and now I went to my first slide. Oh, let's see which way to spell clock. I got it correct. I'm going to click here, and now I'm on my next one. Now let's get one wrong. Flower. I'm going to click here. Oh, try again. And now I have the chance to try it again. Flower. Correct? Click here. All right, globe. Let's see. Globe. Congratulations. And then you're at the end. So that was just a short version. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that this is going to be a fun game for you to do. The best way to do it is just get in there and play. If you mess up, delete the slide and start over. Don't be afraid to get in there and make one, and you'll see how easy it is to make new ones. So get in there and try. You're not going to break it. Promise you're not going to break it. So have fun making your choose your own adventure games, and I'd love to hear in the comments below if you're going to give this a try. Have a good one.